Hey guys, and welcome to my video. And I wish I didn't have to make this video. I really wish that I didn't. So first things first, due to the sensitivity of the topic, I would like to put on this disclaimer, and that all of the images and screenshots were obtained from public posts and information. Now, if you think that you are being identified, or there are some identifiers that will actually point to you, if a person will try to search for it, then you can send me a message and we'll talk about it. So I'm gonna post my email in the description below, and you can send me a message there, okay? Now, for the rest, please do not send or harass send hate or harass the people involved in this issue. Let's respond with a little bit of kindness, okay? And the purpose of this video is just to talk about the situation and should not be used for any legal proceedings. Even with the stuff wherein I will mention laws, it's just for the purpose of discussion. Now, if you will use this information, this video, like if you want to make your own video, if you want to use it for educational purposes, or even like post it on your social media, it's your responsibility, okay? Although you could leave a comment below and we'll talk about it. We do have this post, which is posted publicly again by an irate patient, I think. But most patients think they are customers, and customers are always right. And that's actually a bad mentality, because you are there because there's something wrong. And although I empathize with your situation, I sympathize that you were, because the surgery was already finished. You were anxious for the tonsillectomy procedure, which you posted publicly, by the way. You were anxious with your tonsillectomy procedure, and it didn't help that the nurse who inserted the IV line was not successful the few times they did it first. And I just don't think that it's right for you to like waive the 100,000 fee that you're paying. To be honest, it's crass for you to do that. We are actually human beings. We nurses are actually human beings, and we also pay hospital bills when we get sick. I myself underwent appendectomy, and yes, we paid for that procedure. I know people, my relatives, they also went into surgery and they also paid. And we did not get 100% satisfaction or quality from everything, but we did not make a big deal out of it. Like, I actually had, during that time, it was an antibiotic injected intramuscular, and the nurse wasn't able to do it correctly, and it actually swelled up, and eventually we found out that I had a little bit of reaction from the medication. But you know what? We didn't go after the nurse, because how would the nurse know that I would react with the medication? Because my parents already provided, I think, my history of allergies, my health history, and yet I still reacted to the medication. So it's not the nurse's fault. I've had several times wherein, before I became a nurse, the IV insertion was done incorrectly. We understood that accidents happen. We understood that nurses are humans and are bound to make mistakes. And the procedure that you are talking about, the nurse are actually doing it blind. I do the procedure also. You don't actually see the vein that is underneath the skin. You only see an imprint of it. You can't even estimate if the vein is like on top of the muscle or being hidden under the skin. Most people do it blind. We just only have markers to remind us where the placement is. We have the anatomy physiology that we try to remember on where the usual placement of the veins are. And even you yourself said that your veins are small. Not everyone have the same type of vein. So we are looking at 7 billion people with different placements, sizes of the veins. And you're actually lucky that you got you had the insertion done eventually. and the procedure you were supposed to undergo surgery, you actually need a gauge 18 to be inserted, so that if anything happens during surgery, the nurses and healthcare workers, the doctors, won't panic in inserting a new gauge for the blood transfusion, because the best gauge for blood transfusion is gauge 18. Though I would have to say that due to the number of patients nurses take care there in the Philippines, like we would take care of 30 to 40 depending on the ward, because I think I see that you are in the ward, by the way, or are you in the private room? I don't know. But still, even with a private room setting, nurses would take care about 1 to 10 patients. It's still too much. We are supposed to inform you and get your consent for every procedure, and that every procedure has risk involved, and it would also have a success rate. So some procedure would have a success rate of 99%. It's never 100%, by the way. So you could be the unlucky 1% for this particular nurse. And she is also a human being, by the way. She is a human being that will also feel nervousness. She is a human being that will fail also. And yeah, she failed a couple of times. Your comment about the sheets were awash with blood, you would like, for that description, you would be needing blood transfusion, especially before a surgery. Now, you might have done hyperbole or exaggeration, but the problem is you did it in a way that's opening you up for liabilities. Now let's look at your post again on why I said that. Again, do not use this for legal proceedings. Whoever you are, do not use this, because I'm just speculating. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a nurse, an ordinary nurse. So you say here you'll be paying 100,000. That's irrelevant to your situation. Like, my dad paid for several hundred thousands for a procedure, and we accepted the quality that we got and understood that nurses and doctors are human beings. So you're saying that the quality of the service was, you're questioning it. The problem is you did not specify a single person. You specify a whole hospital and a whole group of people. You say here, is this hospital, which is blanked over here, is this hospital sure about the nurses that they have if they pass the board exam? You're questioning a whole group of people, and that's a lot of people to malign. And just for your information, IV insertion is in some schools. I know the school that I was in did not teach us IV training. I did not give IV training, by the way. They only taught us the theory on it, but we did not practice on it. So IV training is done after passing the board exam. We actually have to pay for training again, which is quite expensive, to be honest. And just to be able to do IV insertion. Now, I would like to say that I've been a nurse for like almost 10 years now, and I consider myself an expert in several things, but I wouldn't even say that I would be 100% expert. I would say like somewhere along 90%, 95%. And something like doing the IV insertion, you're bound to have some mistakes. And most likely you're anxious, you're communicating your anxiety to the nurse, and the nurse could be anxious also. And you're stating facts that you don't even know if it's real or not, which is like you're saying that the nurse is untrained or something. So I understand that you felt more anxiety after the procedure. You could have handled it differently. Like, you work in a call center. What do you do when a customer becomes irate? Are you allowed to post on social media your situation? Are you allowed to leave some identifiers? about the situation. Like you would say that I have this customer from blah blah blah, and he or she said this and that. The problem is that's what you did. You posted on social media and even left identifiers that will identify the hospital and the nurse. Now, I did the blurring for you, and you said that your partner cropped the picture, but you forgot that you also posted the watch of the nurse, and that could be used to identify her. You posted the hospital she works in and several other details that could lead to her. Okay? It's unfortunate that what happened to you was something like that, but then again, like mistakes happen with procedures like this one. No procedure is without risk. No procedure is without failure rates or success rates. We are all humans and we make mistakes. And the thing is, if you feel like you were wrong, intentionally by the way, because the nurse intentionally hurt you multiple times by inserting the IV, then you could very well demand for an apology. But this is a mistake done with the acceptance that every procedure is not 100% successful. I mean, even when you receive a call in a call center agent, as a call center agent, you would make mistakes and not be able to cater to the demands of the customer. Like a customer would immediately demand that within 5 minutes of conversation with you, you would solve the problem 100%. And when you do make mistakes, don't you have the quality control to help with that? Like, can't you as a patient like approach someone first before making a post that actually maligned a whole hospital and a whole group of professionals? So that's the problem here. And again, I empathize with your situation. You are currently being vilified by a whole profession, but then again, you posted in public, so what do you expect? So here's the several problems that maybe inflamed a lot of people. Number one is this one. You approve of physical violence on the nurse. So this is what I was talking about. Like, seriously. Why would you approve of this message? You are saying that you want one of your visitors to use a nail cutter on the nurse and pinch them using the nail cutter. I know it's a joke for you, but what if you have a irate customer who will say that I will come and kill you? What do you think will happen when you receive a phone call and then yeah, what if this person will post on his social media like, I hate this customer service of brand X. I would like to do something to them. Like, if you found that post, I'm pretty sure you would be calling the police. You would be reporting this to your legal department to bar that customer from calling you again or from getting your services. And in this statement, you said that if the nurse attending to you was male, your boyfriend would punch him. Seriously, this is a big problem in the Philippines wherein male nurses don't have the protection of womanhood. And here you are making a statement that you would allow your boyfriend to punch a male nurse if they made a mistake. When is that all right? What if your customer in a call center agent will say that if you were a male, I was talking to you right now and you are a male, I would let my friends come and find you to punch you or something or do something worse. This is not good. I've received assaults myself, like verbal assault. Someone tried a physical assault. Someone actually said that he would push me over the stairs. And I didn't even make a mistake. I was implementing the visitation hours because we had a patient who was infectious. So I do not like seeing some things like this one wherein you encourage violence. I will not show all of the comments that you have made, the comments that your friends have made, and you are encouraging them. That's the big problem here. You work in a similar capacity in the service industry as we nurses. We are in the service industry. It's just that we are specified into healthcare. How would you like if things were overturned and you, an irate customer calling you, will post on social media and will accept all of the violent threats that his or her friends will make? So this is actually also a very sexist remark, by the way. You are a sexist, and that's one of the least of your problems right now. So I'm not sure what the hospital will do. I'm not sure what the nurse will do, because you are making an indirect threat that if the nurse was a male, then your boyfriend will punch him. And you've left identifying marks on the pictures that you posted. The wristwatch can be traced to the nurse in question. And I hope that you will just like settle this amicably and let bygones be bygones. But I think you are going to, I think you're planning on making a formal complaint. I just hope that you've erased all of your social media tracks and you've told your friends not to post more violent reactions on this one, because this could backfire on you, by the way. Now I'm gonna cool down and I'm gonna talk to nurses about what we can do about this one. So, welcome to my how to deal with the aftermath of an irate patient 101. Well, actually before this one, I would like to remind the chief nurses, the senior nurse, the supervisors, that you are not helping your staff nurse if you overload them with a lot of patients, and maybe do more trainings. Again, like for every procedure, always remind the patients of the success rates, the failure rates, the risk involved, and everything else. Even if it's just like wound cleaning, there should be somebody saying what the risks are involved. Like if you use betadine, just tell them that the solution could have a positive or negative effect, okay? Or make a blanket consent obtained from the patients and have your HR ready to explain to them that you are the patients, you're asking the patients, you are consenting to a lot of procedures, and all of these procedures will have risk involved, will have success rates involved. And now we move on to dealing with the aftermath of an irate patient. So number one, do not engage the patients or significant others. This is one big problem for us nurses, or actually for any type of employee out there. If you have a customer or patient posting bad stuff on the internet, do not reach out to that person. Do not post on your social media and have your friends attack that person. That's actually going to reflect badly on you. So number one, do not engage. Next, write an incident report. Now, this is, I know the IR is something that most nurses are actually afraid of doing. Aside from the fact that they think that you have to write it in English. In actuality, you can write the IR in your own vernacular, in your own language. If you prefer to write it in Visayan, do it. If you prefer to write it in Pictionary or Alibata, do it. But yeah, do it in a way that people will understand, because you are doing this for yourself. Now, you don't have to write an IR just because you want to submit it, or you're required to submit it, or just because you are at fault. No. You are writing the incident report, or just basically writing the whole thing while it is fresh in your memory. This will help you in the long run. You have to write it so that you will remember it, because as a human being, you will forget small details. And as a human being, those small details, your brain will try to make up information to cover those, and eventually people will think that you're lying. Okay, so write an IR for yourself, write all the events so that you'll be able to remember them and you won't have any mistakes. Now, people say that, hey, if you are telling the truth, then nobody will be able nobody will be able to question you into a corner, into lying. No, that's not actually 100% true. A lot of people will forget small things, and those small things could add up, and people will think that you are lying. So make sure that you write your incident report and make sure that it contains all the information that you need, from the date, the place, the people that were in the room with you who could be also asked to testify, and the people you talked before and after the incident. And again, I will remind, do not photocopy the chart. Do not worry about the chart. You can take a picture and keep it for private purposes. Do not photocopy the chart. The chart should not have any erasures. Just leave it alone. But you can write in the IR which pages of the chart has the information that will exonerate you, that has the information that will prove your innocence. Like, for example, you have there the information in the doctor's orders. The patient is being prepared for surgery and you are being ordered to start an IV line. Then you can write there that you were ordered by this and this. You have an order to do the IV insertion, and the fact that it is a surgery, then you needed to use an IV gauge 18 for the safety of the patient. Okay? So don't be afraid in writing an incident report. Use your own language if you have to. This is for your own safety. And so when they ask for it, at least you're ready. So just make a draft of an incident report and then make a final draft with everything else. And you can actually use this incident report to help you gain some legal counsel from attorneys and from other lawyers. Next, know your rights. Now, I'm not gonna delve into this one because we would have to talk about several other laws that are for nurses, for healthcare workers, the Magna Carta of government healthcare workers, the cybercrime law. There's a lot of laws that you can look up for your rights. Just remember that you are still a human being. You are innocent until proven guilty. Next, do not be afraid to obtain legal advice. It doesn't mean that you are obtaining legal advice because you want to sue a patient, you want to sue someone else. No, you're not. You just want advice to know what steps that you can use to protect yourself. You don't have to sue anyone. At least you're just going to get advice that's going to be helpful in case you are being called into question, and to prevent you from saying something that will incriminate you. Because as a human being, you have the right to avoid self-incrimination. Like you're not required to incriminate yourself. I'm not sure how else to be able to say that. Maybe you can ask legal advice for that. Now, sources of legal advice, I would really suggest that you get an impartial lawyer. Don't rely on your relatives because they will be biased for you, and that's not going to be a good thing. You can go for private practice lawyers, or you could go for the public attorney's office. They are available, and I've been able to see some friends use them. And number 5, keep your silence. The good thing about seeing posts of the customers or the patients, you know what they're thinking. You know what they've said, you know what they feel, and you can prepare for it. But do not make the same mistake. Keep your silence. Do not allow others to chime in and inflame you. So the problem with the patient back there was that she was agreeing to the violence, and then she made the mistake of saying a violent thing, all because she had people talking to her about it. Do not do that. So keep your silence. And this is not the final one, by the way. Finally, value your mental health. Now, nursing is a strenuous job. Even if we take care of 1,000 patients in a month, we only get paid the base pay. We don't even get paid the overtime. Value your mental health. Know when to clock out of the hospital. Don't be so absorbed in your work that you will burn yourself out just to please the management, just to please your patient. You actually have the right to like just clock out once you're done with your work, once you're sure that you're done with your work, and once you're able to endorse the rest of your work to your co-workers. And other venues, you have to do meditation, or if you want, you can also actually go for counseling. It's the thing here in the Philippines, we don't talk to therapists that much. Maybe find someone to talk to, a crisis hotline in the Philippines, or yeah, talk to your friends in person, not in text messages. Don't leave a trail, by the way. And if you feel like mountain climbing or cycling is a good thing for you, then do it. So value your mental health, but do stuff that are positive, not negative. I will not condone drinking. It's never a good thing. Drinking while you are anxious or depressed is not always a good thing. It's actually very bad to do that. So yeah, as nurses, value your mental health. One of them could be to switch off social media. Okay? Do not engage, keep your silence, obtain advice, and then make your IR. These are just like basic stuff that you can do, and I hope that this will help you guys. And yeah, I kind of forgot also. If you are being pressed, you saw on social media that you are being targeted, or even just alluded that, hey, you did this. I had a nurse who did this, and although they didn't give enough information to pinpoint you, you can actually talk to your HR, you can talk to your senior supervisor and chief nurse. This is what I said in one of the videos that I made. Do not fight the fight of the hospital. Your hospital has the HR, has their own legal team to deal with these issues. The best thing you can do is make your IR, and then talk to them with the whole situation. Make your statements go through your hospital first. If you don't feel like you can trust them, that's when you should obtain legal counsel or legal advice and have someone else represent you when you need somebody to talk to. Okay? And I do hope that this will be settled amicably, because maybe both sides are at fault here. But the only thing that I'm seeing is the side of the patient, wherein she's posting a lot of things that are borderline illegal, and some of them are actually illegal. We don't know the side of the nurse, if she's really untrained, if she's really not good with IV insertion. Everything is actually just accusations from the patient side. And we should be always erring on the side of innocent until proven guilty. It's just that the patient has incriminated herself with her own social media post. So again, I would like to refer again to my disclaimer. This is not to be used for legal proceedings. And if you use this other than the purpose of discussion with this video, then that's up to you. And battery low, just in time for me to finish my video. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope that you are all safe there. If you have any violent reactions with the video, please post below, and have a good night, and God bless everyone.